tell us how fast we're going and how far we're going. And an infinite mindset means we think of it less like a race and more like a lifestyle. So for example, you can have health goals. I want to lose X amount of weight by a certain date, and those goals help motivate you. And if you miss your goal, it's fine. The goal was there to help drive you forwards and to help you build a healthy lifestyle. But if you miss the goal, it's okay, because you're still healthier now than you were when you started. And if you keep at it, you're going to hit the goal in 14 months instead of 12 months. Business is the same. The goals we post are important. They help motivate us. And if we miss them, it's okay, because we've been building systems, building leaders, taking care of our people that are making us a stronger company than when we started. We'll hit the goal in 14 months. Something about the business world we live in, where somebody will raise their hand and say, I totally buy into this infinite-minded, organization thing, but what do you do when senior management is finite-minded and runs the company on a quarterly or annual basis, strictly by the numbers, et cetera, et cetera? And the answer is, you can't change that. There's nothing that you can do to convince. You can't, no number of anonymous books arriving on their desk will change their, change their minds. But what you can do is worry about yourself and your own group. This is where you have to be the leader you wish you had. Leadership has nothing to do with rank or hierarchy. I know many people who sit at the highest levels of an organization who are not leaders. They have authority, which is why we do as they tell us, but we would never follow them, and we really don't trust them. But we've all worked with people who have no rank and no formal authority, and yet they've made a decision to look after the person to the left of them and look after the person to the right of them, and we trust them and follow them anywhere. In other words, every single one of us has the capacity and ability to be the leader we wish we had, the responsibility to see those around us rise. And what starts to happen is one little group inside an organization becomes magical. It becomes the group that everybody wants to work for. And one of those people will be moved to another division. And then they will start leading the way that you were leading, because you've been an infinite-minded leader. And their little group becomes magical. And then one person gets moved to another one, and one person gets moved to another company. And we take this infinite-minded perspective. Not only does the tail wag the dog, not only can we, the people, change the direction of an entire company this way, but we, the people, can change the direction of all business that way. So, we don't have to have it done in a week or a month or even a year, but if we set our minds to leading the way that we want to be led, we'll have a profound impact over the next 10 or 20 years. I'm actually quite good about taking time for myself where I disconnect from everything. I'm a great believer, when people take vacation but they're online the whole time, that's not a vacation, that's telecommuting from a beach, right? And so one could argue that in our modern day and age, we actually take zero vacation, and we have 0 evenings and 0 weekends. And I think that's incredibly unhealthy. And so as a company and as an individual, we're pretty good. Like, if I get emails on a weekend, if I look at them, which I don't always, I will not reply until Monday, because it's the weekend. There's always exceptions. And when I go on vacation, I tell my team I'm on vacation. If there's an emergency, deal with it, right? Because I'm on vacation. And quite frankly, anybody who goes to a retreat or an offsite or takes a day off and checks in on a regular basis, nothing says I don't trust my team more than feeling the need to check in every hour. You're literally telling people, you can't do this without me. I have to be on every email, So I'm really good when I decide to disconnect, to completely disconnect from work. And I understand that ideas, I recognize that, we talk about work-life balance. Work and life are not opposing forces. Balance is the wrong analogy. I'm the same person at home as I am at work. It's just different clothes and a different table I sit at, right? And so what I try and do is recognize that it's all my life, and there's no difference in where I am and what I'm doing. And so what I'm trying to do is live a balanced life in general, and I work to ensure that creative things are very much a part of it. That can be making things, but that can also be going to see things. I think it's very important for people to take time off, to look at art, see theater, do whatever your thing is. I think you need to engage with something that challenges your brain in a way that it doesn't challenge you every single day, so that you see the world differently. I have many, many ideas sitting in places they don't expect to have ideas. I'm very for what the roundtable announced. The statement's a bit pablum, but it reads like the generic values they put on the wall of a generic company. I would have liked to have seen them, the people who they attribute the work to in the press release, to folks like Kip Tindall from Container Store or Jim Senegal from Costco, who've been leading this way for decades and have been outspoken about the way business has been done and been criticized for it for decades. Like, they're better messengers for it because they have that deep intention. They fundamentally believe business should be done this way, and the true infinite-minded player wants to build a business not just to build a better business for themselves. They want to build a business because they want to build business better. So they don't just come up with an idea and then hoard it. They come up with an idea and share it because it's good for the game. It's about perpetuating the game. So if the intention is to see all ships rise, then I'm very open to what these companies are saying. If the intention is to see our ship rise, I become a little cynical. Realistic metrics that are in the vision, right? Like to meet X number of revenues by X date. Even if it's 30 years from now, it's finite, right? Moonshots, those ones are slippery because they meet most of the criteria of a good just cause, except for the fact that they're achievable. They might be achievable in 20 or 30 years, but they're achievable. A great just cause is idealistic and, for all intents and purposes, unachievable. So I think the reason I chose to talk about and write a book about the infinite game and not just the long game is long is still relative. 10 years, 20 years, 5 years, 30 years, it's still fixed. And so I was very prescriptive about choosing the infinite game because I think lots of people talk about they're long-term minded, 5 years, We have a long-term vision, 5 years to go public, It literally has to be endless. I think that's, to frame our heads around endless, I think is the only true way to really build an organization for the long term, legitimately.
My friend, I have a goal for 1,000 subscribers. So, like and subscribe, and you will get more motivational videos.